we drop it?
No, not on my head. What has he got in his hands?
I'm not too sure, but I'm getting too old for this.
At least we can find the monkey.
Well, now don't tear up my monkey.
My father and I own Flagg Coal Company number 75, a 040 tank engine that we bought and restored in 91 to 2001.
My son was 19 at the time, and 19-year-olds aren't the easiest to work with.
It's kind of a father-son hobby that's gotten way out of hand, is what it is.
I live on a farm. We're kind of used to putting things back together.
It took us 10 years to get it running. We now have 4 of them. At the rate we're going, Dad's 68, and that makes him about 88 by the time we get the last one done. So I think we probably better get him finished.
We learned how to do this if we know how to do it. My son started at a tourist railroad when he was 12.
The idea was if I was over there with those old guys on the Railroad Museum, I wouldn't get in trouble.
And we've been from Michigan, Indiana, Alabama, Florida, North and South Carolina, Connecticut, Ohio. 15
states and 18 different railroad museums, hauling this engine around the country, giving people rides. I work for the railroad for a living during the week, and on the weekends I go play train with my engines. The engine was built in 1930. It weighs 82,000 pounds full of coal and water. It was built by the Vulcan Iron Works in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, which is just outside of Scranton, for the Flagg Coal Company in Avoca, and it was used there for about 4 years. When it was repossessed, basically, by Vulcan Iron Works, they rebuilt it and sold it to a rock quarry in upstate New York. And it was used there until about 1952. The engine will hold about 1,200 gallons of water in its tank, and it carries about a ton of coal. Rule of thumb, 100 gallons of water per mile and roughly 100 pounds of coal per mile for this particular engine. It all depends on how good the fireman is and how good the engineer is. If you have 2 guys that can work together good and are smooth and easygoing, you will not burn as much coal and water as somebody who does a lot of speeding up and slowing down. It's all about doing everything nice and steady, don't get in a hurry.
Mechanically, they're a relatively simple machine.
This tank engine's got 38-inch wheels. If it gets over about 15, 20 miles an hour, it gets to be a pretty wild ride because it's so small, has a short wheelbase. It does one of these numbers down the track so bad you get scared. We've been at 15 miles an hour with it, and that's plenty fast. It's like driving your car too fast. You can just tell it just doesn't like it. It isn't very big, but it has an awful lot of power for its size. And we have brought Flagg Coal number 75, also known as Hank the Tank, here to Calera, Alabama, at the Heart of Dixie Railroad Museum.
You got everything checked yet?
No. Have you got everything greased?
Yeah. Oh, no.
No, you don't have everything greased. Before we can go for a ride, we have to get the steam engine ready to run. And it's not as simple as starting your car. It takes roughly 2 hours to get Hank ready to go. He doesn't like to get going in the morning.
Will you hand me the rake? Well, first of all, we have to get the ashes shook out of the firebox. We got to fill it with water.
We'll build the new fire, which is put in a layer of coal, a little bit of firewood or something on top of it. We'll usually use a fusee or newspaper, or we've used palm fronds, all kinds of things to get a fire started, and then we basically are waiting for water to boil.
It'll take about 2 hours to get the fire up to where it's really boiling water.
The time spent waiting for everything to warm up we'll use to grease the engine, checking loose bolts, nuts, general inspection of the engine. What I'm doing here is I'm looking for loose bolts. If you find a loose bolt, it'll go thud rather than tink.
And you really ought to have a regular hammer instead of a claw hammer.
It'll work on your head just as well as work on the bolts. So.
Yeah, but it looked better if you had a...
Well, I didn't pack the trailer. You packed the trailer, so.
I'm the one that always does it because I do a better job of packing the trailer than he does.
Is the back as bad as the front?
Oh, it's all well organized. Things
It's
are nice.
worse than the front. I packed the trailer once, and after that, I was told I couldn't pack it again. Dad packs a trailer. All right, it's your problem. You pack it, you find it.
Well, next time maybe you can help. He complains about the way I do it.
That needs to be on the engine.
Well, I gotta fix it. Well, don't throw it in. Just...
Oh, that's right. That's where it goes, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where it goes.
How he can find anything in the bloody thing, I will never know because I can't.
Oh, I know where everything is.
Where's the fittings for the fire hose?
Right there in the milk carton.
Well, how am I going to get to it?
Well,
I would think that I could do a better job of it, but he has his system, and I learned a long time ago not to mess with his system. Not saying it's right. That's worse than my room.
well, nothing could ever be as bad as your room used to be.
If I'm sent to the trailer to get something, I have to ask for specific instructions to where it is because I ain't got a clue what's in that trailer or where it is. At least we can find the monkey.
Well, now don't tear up my monkey. See, and that sounds pretty good. Reminds me of you. Hank's 80 years old. We have to be pretty sure to check everything.
Steam engines and virtually any type of railroad equipment has to have a daily inspection.
We actually have a checklist, which is a form that we fill out, and we go down this list and sign off on it when we're done.
We will test the air brakes, we will test the water glasses, we will test the safety valves, make sure everything is working as intended before we operate for the day. And obviously if something is not working as intended, we need to get it fixed so it will work. I need that big crescent wrench to get the pressure right.
When we drop it,
No, not on my head. I'll just have to crawl over.
I can get over it.
What do you want?
You're a lot younger than I am.
What do you want, a Captain Crunch Commando cookie or what?
Shit. Well, if you weren't so big, you could crawl over it. Everything done. I got the ties uncovered, and I think we're ready to go. Turn it over to him from my end.
All right, well, the feed valve's sticking a little bit here.
Bad?
Well, we're going to have to clean it probably.
The Heart of Dixie Railroad Museum started as a chapter of the National Railway Historical Society in 1963. We're all volunteer. That includes the track maintenance, the diesel maintenance, car repairs, just about everything we do, train operations.
You ready, folks?
Today we were fortunate enough to have a Flagg 75, the father and son team of the Gramlings. Brought their engine here. We'll have it here this weekend. We'll have it here one more weekend. So we'll run 4 days of steam. It's the only time we run mainline steam.
Here in Calera, we run about 7 miles altogether.
The engine's hooked to the cars. We will push the cars about 3 miles east of town. It's uphill most of the way. We go out underneath the interstate. Once we get out past the golf course, we'll stop. We have a fire patrol motor car that follows along behind us in case we start a fire or something, which we hope we won't do. And we roll back down into, almost into the station where we stop. We'll let all the passengers off the train, those who want to be, and then we will back up and perform a photo run-by.
Anybody want to get off with a photo run by?
And that is nothing more than after the passenger's off, we back up and run past them and they can take their pictures.
So the people who are on the train will actually get a chance to photograph the engine actually moving and going by, and then we'll load them back up and bring them back down to the station. And it takes a little over an hour to make the trip.
This is the third time we've had it here, and it's been well received. The coach that's on our train today, the Frisco coach, celebrated its centennial last year. It's a pretty nice coach.
Every train museum has members that have items that they would like to see on an engine.
And when the engine shows up, it gives them a chance to actually
use the stuff that they've collected. Most of the stuff they get came from the days of steam, came off of a steam engine, and they either don't have a steam engine or haven't had a steam engine running where they could put it on.
What has he got in his hand? He's got class lights and he's got flags. Oh gosh, who's this?
Class lights and flags hark back to a day when everything was done on a timetable and a pocket watch. Different railroads had different operating rules, and the light would have been used at night to identify an extra train or the first section of a multi-section train, and the flags were used during the daylight.
What are you doing, Alan?
Hank would have never been on the main line or pulled a multi-section train, so, you know, we don't really need them. We're the only train on the railroad today. It's another case of somebody has them and they've never seen them on an engine, and this is their chance to put their lights on their engine, so we're good with that.
Want me to put them on?
The way we look at it is it's their engine for the weekend, let them have the fun. Most of the time, Dad and I, we're pretty good about it. If they want to put class lights and flags on it, I don't have a problem with it. I do have a problem with smiley faces and Christmas lights. Beyond that, I'm pretty open to whatever goes on it. Been to a lot of these places more than once, and there's a lot of the guys here that we consider good friends.
We've actually been in Calera, Alabama here. I think this is the third time. Jerry, how are you?
I'm good.
How you been?
I've been all right.
Everybody wants to know how you've been, what you've been up to. This case, it's been over a year since I've seen them, so I got a lot of catching up to do with them as to what has happened in the meantime. It's like a big family reunion a lot of times.
Alan, how are you been?
Good, John.
The more times we go back to places, there's more people that we end up being friends with. You been behaving?
No.
Are you still teaching?
Oh, yeah.
Are the kids learning anything?
No.
Well, at least you're honest
That's
about
right.
it.
That's right.
Meeting and seeing the kids is one of the nicest side effects of having the engine and being able to take it at different places.
Say all aboard for the camera.
All aboard for the camera.
The kids are funny, excited, and they're just having fun.
I think that once they get excited, they're happy, and that kind of energy transfers to everybody around, including me.
See the fire? That's hot, yeah. High five, yeah. Give me a low five? All right. There you go. Oh, my hand's dirty, isn't it? You want to see what makes her go? Here we go. See it in there? Kind of hot, isn't it? We can roast a marshmallow in there, can't we? Well, we'll give her a little more time and then she can drive the train. Girls can drive trains too.
The little ones, they see something, they're awed, they're impressed.
So you always start the fights and you always win. Why you keep grinning at me? They're neat to talk to. They don't have any preconceived notions. Nobody's got to them and tell them yet that you're supposed to like this and not like that. And they're innocent. That's what's nice about it. Are you always this quiet at home?
Nope. I wish.
I think the kids like me a lot more than they like Dad. Dad's a grump. I'm sure he'll argue against that.
Only problem is he's got a John Deere shirt on. You know why John Deeres are green? That way they can hide in the grass while the others are working. Right? Yeah. If it ain't red, leave it in the shed.
Perfect example today was being the girl in the cab who gave me 5, high 5, low 5. That's proof positive.
The kids are actually afraid of Barney. Well, you got a nice white shirt on.
Oh yeah, she's ready to go. She even has her gloves.
Oh.
She's ready to go.
That's good. That's good. Scare her off. That's good. Scare her off.
I didn't scare her.
No,
She
go right
seen
on
you.
ahead.
She come around the corner and seen you, or you
Yeah,
come
I
around
bet.
the corner and see.
Seen you.
Or, no. I think the kids like me better than they do Barney, but he probably doesn't agree with me, but he doesn't agree with me on a lot of things.
On the side?
Oh boy.
Feel right your little nose?
Yeah, here, give it.
Well, try it.
Yeah, right.
I guess if they want me to scribble my name, I can do that. How's that?
Yeah, say thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I don't know what it takes to really have somebody want your autograph. Unless they're going to forge something.
Why anybody would want his autograph, I don't know. You can't read it. I mean, so anybody can give Dad's autograph.
She didn't ask Barney for an autograph.
She didn't ask mine because she probably didn't see me. And I don't think she was scared of me. She just didn't see me. How could you not love me?
Got this thing in 1991. Has a, it's a hobby is what it is. I was working volunteering on a tourist railroad in Indiana.
It worked out pretty good, except you met some older guys that maybe had a bad influence on you, because look what we ended up with.
There were several engines for sale in New York, and we went out to look at them. I went with the idea of buying one. He went with the idea of what? Making.
Well, if we went out there and looked at them, it would be evident to you that we couldn't afford it, and so you'd give up the crazy idea, and I'd get off the hook, which my plan backfired.
Yeah.
When we found Hank, he was sitting in a woods, and he had been sitting in the same spot for nearly 40 years. We actually cut down trees to get to him.
Don't scratch the paint. Hank was in pretty miserable condition.
If we'd have known then what we know now, he'd still be sitting in the woods. We'd have never hauled him home.
It took us 10 years, and I think a lot of that was because he knew too much and he wouldn't listen, and so we didn't always get along that well. If he'd have been more cooperative, it'd have gone faster.
Yeah, but at the end you realized I really did know everything I said, and you just had to learn it.
Well, I don't know about that. I may have mellowed out a little bit, but I think you wised up.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
One of the things we did was allow people to come in and buy a special ticket and actually run the locomotive for 30 minutes.
We're going to get people in here who have never run a steam engine before. We'll get them in the cab, and we'll, over the course of half hour, 45 minutes, we'll show them how to run an engine, actually let them run it. We've had well over 1,000 people run this engine.
It's been a lot of fun letting people have a chance at running something that they probably wouldn't get a chance to otherwise.
It's a lot of satisfaction in successfully operating a machine like that.
3. That'll do.
It's kind of like Tom Sawyer and the fence. They run the engine.
They shovel the coal.
They shovel the coal. Nobody's, well, I don't think anybody's listening, so they...
It's a challenge, a lot of work. It's hot, it's dirty. When you're working the engine hard, if you open the firebox door, it's just about like looking at the sun. So you really can't tell what you're doing. Once you're underway, you just have to remember where you put every shovel of coal and remember to keep it evenly fired over that whole surface. If you don't, you get a hole in the fire. Before long, you run out of steam, and it'd be awfully embarrassing to stop and have to build up steam.
Every trip, we will clean the boiler out.
All right, let me out there.
And we do that by opening a valve in the front of the firebox from the outside, and we'll usually blow off anywhere from 75 to 100 gallons of water at a time. The steam engine is nothing different than a tea kettle on your stove. And if you've ever looked in your tea kettle after you've boiled a bunch of water and how it has some crusty looking stuff in it, that's actually the minerals and other thing in your water. The water that you're using isn't pure distilled water. It has calcium, iron, mud in it, and the steam engine is the same thing. And we don't want that crusty crud inside of the boiler, because otherwise we have other problems. I bet I know where he's going. He's going to get that bobble-headed dog of his that somebody gave him, I don't know where. I hope he can find it in a trailer.
I have no trouble finding him. I'll put him in.
The dog, when he first appeared, was brown, and now he's black. And I'm amused by him, I guess. We use him as a speedometer. Once his head bobbles so fast, we know we're going too fast.
Today he needs some emergency repairs because the engine ride's pretty rough, and I think the glue that I had him stuck fast with just got tired and let go. That's not what it looks like. He's been perched up there on the backhead for 6 or 7 years now.
There was a hula dancer up there too at one time until it got hot enough that her skirt melted, and that caused some issues. Dad's got his dog. It's a little weird, but I drink water out of the tank, so.
I wouldn't drink out of the tank engine like Barney does because I'm probably not going to get that thirsty.
I hate cold water. I don't even like cold beer. I like warm water, so I just get it out of the tank. And it's a steel tank, steel pipes, just like the water tower at the city there. It's steel, so it's virtually the same thing.
He probably wishes it was rum.
Now that we've got time, I suppose we probably better fix this feed regulator.
What time we got?
We got time, it won't take very long.
The part that we need to fix is somewhat tough to even get at because I'm a little bit big for where it's at. That was good. That was good too. It's not a hard part to fix, it's just tough to get to because whoever designed the air system was an idiot. And do you know who designed the air system? I did.
The gasket going to be okay?
Yeah. And this one has caused us problems in the past, but it's an easy fix. There it is right there.
It's always the real little parts that'll give you the most trouble.
Well, put it on, not in the air.
Well, if you'd hold it still.
The air brakes will not function as intended with this not working properly. So it's kind of important. Probably gonna need a pipe wrench so I can get the other end of this off. This isn't gonna work.
Drop the parts in the grass.
No wonder it won't move.
Are you going to run the engine some this time?
Oh yeah.
You think you can remember how to do it?
Well, if I can't, I'm sure you'll be there to prod me.
Running a steam locomotive is a little bit different. They have personality. There's a little bit of a challenge. You have to think through everything. There's nothing automatic on a steam locomotive, and there's no warning lights. You have to watch everything, and you have to watch it carefully because there is a hazard if it's not done properly.
Fire! Fire!
Can you see it?
I can smell it.
We better stop the train, check it out, because we don't want to burn down half the town.
Fire brigade!
You got fire?
All right, let's heads up. The fire department's ready for you.
What happened there is we're doing the photo run by for the passengers, and we have a lot of little fine coal in the bottom of the pile. So we threw a shovel full of that in there. It gives them a little bit of nice black smoke to the pictures. Unfortunately, it's very, very fine, and so it went right through the tubes and right out the stack before it was fully burned. And in Alabama, they have pine straw down here, which is nothing more than dried pine needles, and the stuff goes up like gasoline.
It don't take much down here. If it takes off up there, it's gone.
What's up there happens to be a nice golf course. That's probably not going to be par for the course.
Got a little hot one down there, Larry.
The fire was spread over a distance of probably 2 to 250 feet down the track and at least 40 to 50 feet from the track.
Engine 75, you are clear to the clearing, over.
I left Dad at the fire, and I took the train and the passengers back to the station. He's with the fire department, the police department.
I'm not too sure, but I'm getting too old for this.
I probably should give him a call, make sure they didn't haul him away.
Well, they weren't squirting me with the hose or swearing at me, and the cop was nice to me. But at any rate, it's out. We're all set. What are we going to eat tonight?
Everybody says here, we need to go to the Tin Top, this little place alongside the road.
You realize we've had barbecue the last 3 nights?
You never have too much barbecue.
Okay. We'll try the Tin Top.
All right. It smelled like an old-fashioned smokehouse or a open pit barbecue stand that I can remember going to, as a kid.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I have to admit, I like barbecue. I take it very seriously. Suppose this is as good as mine?
don't know. How am I supposed to tell by looking at it?
You can eat all that?
Yep, certainly am. I'll probably eat part of yours because you won't eat all of it. That's why I'm as big as I am. It's almost as good as mine.
Oh, hey, we got napkins.
I just better than Mom's.
Don't tell her.
I think she already knows.
Oh, come on. I don't know why he needs to be stealing my food when he bought a whole pound for himself.
You know, if you do a little more work at the railroad, I could have lunch, and that way I wouldn't be so hungry. I wouldn't have to eat so much.
Well,
You didn't do anything all
you
day.
had the chance.
You didn't do anything all day, so why do you
I
why do
took
you have
the
it?
one trip and you went and talked.
I can't find nothing in here. What did you do all day?
Whatever.
After we're done here, the engine is going to go to Spencer, North Carolina.
The second engine, we do have it running, and it is in Spencer, North Carolina right now. This one will get moved over there, and we're going to double head them together on their museum train. Coming up in Spencer. See ya. Don't go away mad. Just go away.
Thanks.
Here we go.
Are you trying to hit me?
That's just like Grandpa's.
Where did Barney go?
Oh God, I better get back.